Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious high protein vegan broccoli mac and cheese that is so good, so delicious, and it is nut, soy, and gluten free. And as always, the full written out recipe is on my blog, so check the description box and the link for that and all the ingredients written down below as well. First thing we're going to do is we're going to soak our red lentils. So red lentils are the base of this cheesy sauce. So soak it for 5 minutes and then just empty out that water. You could see it turns like a little cloudy and murky. We're just getting off some of those starches. If there's any little rocks or pebbles in there, sometimes that happens. So dump that out. Then I like to add just a slight bit back of water in there because it just helps the lentils to kind of like move around easier because sometimes they can get stuck. So you're going to add those lentils to a medium-sized pot, and then you're going to add in 2 cups of water. You're going to boil these for about 20 minutes until they are nice and mushy. And if you've seen the homemade vegan cheddar cheese recipe, this is pretty similar to that. So we're going to boil those until they are soft. Then in the meantime, let's chop up our broccoli. So this was one very large broccoli crown. I'm going to cut off just that little bottom end part that's kind of like dried out and gross. We're going to cut off the big stem. We're going to save it. We're going to use all of this broccoli. So first I'm going to cut off any big stemmy bits so that way we can chop those up smaller after. And I'm going to cut it into little florets, bite-sized pieces. If the floret's big, I'll kind of cut it into little quarters or something. It doesn't matter. It just is your preference how big or small you want these pieces of broccoli to be. So after I cut up the florets, we are going to cut up the stems, and yeah, see, just like that, beautiful. So we're gonna pop those in a bowl. So now we can cut up the stems, and I'm gonna cut them into bite-sized pieces. The stems taste great. They're perfectly fine to use in this recipe. They work great with the mac and cheese. You don't even really notice them in there, so use the stems for this. So I'm just cutting them up into little pieces. That's it. Just make sure they're nice and bite-sized and not like too thick or too, large in there. Now, our lentils are done cooking, so they're going to look something like this when they're done. You're not going to need to strain them or drain them or anything. I'm trying to show you guys, but it's pretty liquidy in there, but you can see they're mushy, they're yellow, they've changed a lot in color, and this is exactly what we're going for. So we're going to add those cooked lentils right into our blender. Be careful, they might be a little bit hot. Then I'm using the Ripple milk. This is so amazing. It's a pea protein milk and I love it. It's awesome. So we're going to add in half a cup of that. We're going to add in some paprika, salt, and turmeric for a little bit of color and taste. We're going to add in nutritional yeast, another really great thing for vegans, full of B12, and it has a lot of protein in it. Then we're going to add in tapioca starch. This is going to help to thicken it. If you can't find tapioca starch, I've offered substitutions in the blog post. And then we're going to add in half a cup of vegan cheddar shreds just to add a little bit of extra flavor and gooiness to this and just to add it in. You don't have to if you don't want to. So then we are just going to blend this up until it is nice and smooth and soft. It's going to be pretty thin and liquidy, but don't worry because when we cook it later, it will thicken up. So I'm going to show you guys the consistency right now. It's pretty full. But as you can see, it's very liquidy, but don't worry. When we cook it, it'll thicken up nicely. So I'm going to use the Banza chickpea pasta. If you change the pasta, you might change the macros on this recipe, for better or for worse. No, I'm just teasing, but it could alter the protein content on this. So if you want it to be the same, just use the Banza chickpea pasta. In a big pan, you're going to add in the broccoli. This is going to be your final pan where everything gets added in. So make sure it's a really large pan. Then we're going to add in half a cup of water and we're just going to steam the broccoli for about 8 to 10 minutes until it is bright green, soft. Do this on a high heat. If you need to add in a little more water, don't be afraid to. We're going to salt our water for our pasta and then just cook our pasta up. I'm going to undercook it by like a minute or so because that way when we add the cheese sauce in there and everything later on, it'll just finish cooking in the pot. So just cook it until it's like right about how you like it, but a little bit harder than that just because it will finish cooking in the pot. Once it's all done, bring it over, drain it, get rid of all that water. We don't want to save this water this time. So we're going to add the pasta to the broccoli and then we're going to add in that cheese sauce, and I think we should just take a moment and just watch this gloriousness here. So now you're just going to let this cook for about 1 to 3 minutes on a medium-low heat until the cheese sauce has thickened up. That tapioca starch will activate, and also the vegan cheese shreds that we put in there too will get nice and gooey and thick. Just help that pasta to absorb the flavor and the broccoli. And then always make sure to give it a little taste. Make sure you like how it tastes. Add anything to your preferences. I decided to add a little bit of garlic powder because I felt like I wanted it in there, but add in what you like. It's your kitchen, you're cooking what you like. I'm just here to give you a baseline recipe. And that is pretty much it. Now we are done and we can just enjoy this. I mean, come on, how beautiful does that look? And I love how many like nutritious things are kind of getting snuck in there and you don't even realize. And it's great. And I love broccoli, but you could use peas. You could use, I don't know, what other vegetables would you want to put in here? You could try edamame. Sometimes like I've had edamame with mac and cheese and it's kind of interesting. And now we can just plate it up, serve it, You know, you're getting about 4 servings from this recipe. You can have as much as you want. I'm not going to tell you how much to have. And then I always like to add some buffalo sauce and vegan ranch on top of mine. So that's what I'm doing here. And that is it. This is it. It's easy. It's delicious. I've paired it with tofu. I've paired it with seitan. I gave it to non-vegans and they loved it. So definitely try it out. Go get the full written out recipe on the blog. Like I said, ingredients in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my videos, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next week with another video. Bye.